I think we all need to be witnessed.
Yeah.
I think we all feel the need to be understood, to be gotten, that it's okay for me to have the feelings that I'm having. And I think that this is part and parcel to the struggle we have as men, is that, it's admitting to our shame, admitting to our darkness, admitting to sadness and depression, admitting to feelings of collapse or weaknesses, right? Like, we're not allowed to have that. So Brene Brown tells a beautiful story about a woman who came up to her during a book signing and got 4 books signed, one for her and one each for her 3 daughters. And the woman walked away and then began obviously kind of arguing with who turned out to be her husband. And the man walked over to her and said, you don't talk about men? She goes, no, I only talk about women. And he goes, well, it's interesting because we men, we have our shame and we have our darknesses. He goes, but I have 4 women in that house that would just as soon watch me fall off that white horse, or die in that white horse, than to fall off of it. Excuse me, I messed it up. And so I think that, that's kind of where we live. Like, we don't necessarily dive into those darknesses. We don't dive the depths of our pain, of our hurt. And so the idea that we could come to another guy, and I think this is why those men's groups can work if they're given enough time. Yeah. You asked me, do I feel safe with other men? Probably not.
Yeah. No, I know.
Is it safe for me to have those feelings? Because I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to end with some practical not practical, actionable items. One I thought was about communication. So what are your just practical communication techniques? I know you've got tons on initiating difficult conversations. Let me buy you some time. So I will say one of my go-tos, one of my mantras is try to understand before trying to be understood. And this comes from half of my life, always trying to understand or always trying to be understood before even, and also like talking or thinking while they're expressing themselves, I'm already thinking about the comeback. It's a great if 2 people are trying to understand before trying to be understood, then the magnets flip back. It creates soil, safe space, and people are now listening and being heard. So that'd be one tip for me.
Yeah. Empathy requires no agreement.
Yeah.
Right.
You can disagree.
I don't have to agree with your assessment of, and this is where people get caught up. And this is why I have a practice. This is, it's like, you embarrassed me last night in front of our friends. No, I didn't. No, you did, because you said that thing. Well, and it humiliated me. That's not what I said. It's not how I said it.
The tug of war. Yeah.
Right. Back and forth. What if you stopped and said, oh shit, I am so sorry. I had no idea that you we can talk about my intentions later. I am so sorry. Anything I said may have hurt you.
Right.
Now we're cooking with gas, but people get caught up spinning their wheels on this nonsense of, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't.
Right. And let's be fair. I don't know about you, but it's still really hard for me to put the tug of war rope down and to cut straight to whether I did anything wrong or right. What I want to focus on is how you feel, and that at that party you were embarrassed or whatever you're going through.
Yeah, that takes an incredible amount of growing up, and what I call practice 5 in my book is called it's personal responsibility. It's like, I'm going to own that for a moment. I'm going to put it aside, my good intentions, or this feels like a character assassination. Like, I would never do that. I would never do that to you. Sure, that's probably true. It's not at all helpful right now because we have to triage the moment. I'm not admitting to anything other than I see that you're in pain. And if we start there, then we have fertile ground to stand upon. And so people will come to you all the time and they want to talk about I statements for communication techniques. No, they want to talk about nonviolent communication. Does not work. Why? Because the first step in I statements and nonviolent communication is having empathy. And if you're in a part of yourself that is designed to win, to fight, to create distance, that part of you does not have the gear of empathy.
Right.
And so the technique that I use with everyone is, and myself too, is who shows up to this conversation? What part of me shows up here? Because if I show up in my protector parts, if I show up in my inner critic, I'm not going to be able to find that gear and say, hold on a second. First of all, I'm really sorry that anything that came out of my mouth hurt your feelings that way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what that was.
Yeah.
If you do that one time with your partner, they're going to look at you like a dog with sort of funny noise. They're not going to,
Right.
Ashley will say to me, I know what you're doing, and I'll go, yeah, you're probably glad I'm doing it. fucking grows up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then we could talk about like what actually happened. It's funny because then more of the story tends to come out, you know, and you find yourself connecting in ways you didn't think you could if you triage that moment and know that empathy requires no agreement. If we stop trying to win the argument, what have you won if she loses? I mean, if Vanessa loses an argument with you, how's she feeling after that? She feeling warm and fuzzy and cuddly?
No.
Yeah. So you win, great. And we're taught, we're Americans, we win shit, right? Okay. But you win, if where there is a victor, there must be the vanquished. And you've just vanquished the person you're supposed to love. If you love someone, why would you want them to lose anything? So this is a zero-sum game. And trying to win, that doesn't work. And empathy requires no agreement.
I love it. Bumper sticker. Empathy requires no agreement. I want to end on that note. Next week is episode 2. We're going to talk about men and fatherhood, embracing the life cycle event, theme being transitioning into fatherhood and what it means for men's identity and relationships. If you liked this episode 1, tell a friend. Where you can find Lair, all his services, social media will be in the show notes. And Lair, thank you for doing this with me. Not only am I having a good time, but I feel like this is going to help a lot of people. This conversation. Yeah. Thank you.
Really enjoyed talking to you.
All right. Be well. Oh, wait. Don't leave yet.
Yeah. Got to leave it open.
Yeah. Leave it open.